Three. Hi,
Hello,
hello.
everyone.
Ba-ba-da, drum roll,
Mm.
please. Here we are on the 5th of November, 2024. Lovely to see you, Ricky. Lovely to see you, Angela.
Hello, Ricky and Angela.
Yeah. So we were
Lovely to be here.
anticipating that today was going to be quite exciting, and I love Ricky's comment right
Hello,
here.
Spicy Dan.
Be sure to pick up a can of Freedom on aisle Q17 at the Freedom Store today because we're having that Freedom Fest soon at a location near you. Well,
Yeah, Ricky. Mhm.
I voted today. Get out and vote today in America. So, for those of you tuning in from the US, particularly down in the southeastern states, let us know how the weather is down there because I haven't followed up this morning, but I was seeing some concern about weather conditions preventing people from getting out to the polls. And yeah, if you just want to drop a comment in about that, that would be really great to see. Angela has
And
a
we're opening up
question.
with a question from
Yeah,
Angela.
here we go.
Okay.
So
Just start
Angela's
shuffling
saying,
on it.
you previously read on time moving faster. When the evil cleanup is done, will time slow down again? And if so, how soon can we expect to feel that? It's such a good question. And while Crystal's shuffling on that, I'm going to give you a little insight that I picked up yesterday. I was listening to a podcast, and I can put a link to that below. This is someone that I've respected for a really long time. Her name is Barbara Handclough, and she is basically a channel. And she has been working on interdimensional connecting with the Palladians for like 35-40 years, something really extraordinary like that. And she wrote a book on I think it's called The Anatomy of the Nine Dimensions. I'll find a link for that and put it in after we've done the live. So she was speaking about this energy of integrating as basically her interpretation with a lot of scientific backing that she's gained since she channeled the original information. It was so hilarious listening to her. She was like, I didn't even know what I was talking about. Like, I'm now learning what all that meant. I had to learn from the scientists what I was talking about. But basically, the insight is that this time that we're in has been sort of scheduled where there's going to be real huge heart opening for humanity, dimensional upgrades. We've talked about this lots. This is the ascension symptoms. Nothing new here, except what was interesting is she spoke about when they were doing this work, like back in the early 90s, and they were traveling and doing these sixth dimensions. So we talk about five, moving into the fifth dimension, 5D, 4D, 5D, and ultimately 6D, which is the frequency of the heart. She was saying that people were having like heart attacks because it was so much energy that was like coming in without grounding in first and second and third dimension. So I feel like your question about when we clear, what I'm hearing is that a lot of this dark energy, this, the evil, the distortion is in those first three chakras, right? There, it's in the first three dimensions. It's really base. It's about our feeling so attached to the material reality, but also out of balance in our physical selves, in our first, second, and third dimensional bodies, are in a state of always anxiety, always in fear mode. So when we start opening up to these higher dimensional frequencies, we blow our circuits because we don't have the first three healthy ones. So what I'm hearing with your question, Angela, is you're actually saying when we do a lot of the clearing now, is this clearing the evil cleanup, which is both out in the world, like calling it out, literally stopping stopping the distorters from continuing with that ruse, but also inside of us, all that layered buildup of a generational trauma and all the things that we are just carrying around. And basically, she was saying when we experience all these physical symptoms and all this really intense energy, like right now, we just woke up this morning, we were like, whoa. I mean, we just spent, like all morning, Crystal went down to the river and I was doing cleansing and smudging the house. And then we went and like moved on our yoga mats. This is before we came on here, just trying to like keep grounded and keep some of this going. So let's tune in with the cards, see what they're suggesting. They meaning the greater good of all, the the allies that can meet us here in this frequency of the heart. Let's see what they say about what's going to happen. Beautiful. Thanks, Crystal. What's going to happen when this cleanup is done, and how long is it going to take for us to feel like aligned with a better experience of time where we're not so frantic, right? Oh, and you're going to put the third one. You can put it down now. That's just right. That was meant to be. Interesting. I know. Crystal changed the way she did the layout, but I think there's no mistakes in that.
Okay. Never even done that before, so be it. Okay.
And maybe let's move this King of Swords and clean up a little bit. We can, yeah. Perfect. Cover up that Nine of Wands.
Goodbye, present. Maybe we'll just take it up just a little bit so we can see it.
There we go. There we are. And let's put that into the full screen so we can get a bigger vision.
Yeah, sure.
There.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so when will this cleanup be done? It definitely looks like a lot of the sort of boxes that we've been put in around the tangible of our world, around the programming, around money and resources. Like we're really being put into that place has actually right at this point given us the perspective of how could this be different? And we're really having a death and almost I'd say like continuous like crisis of identity that we're going through, and that actually can feel like we're just like stuck, or like we've gotten ourselves in all of these pretzel knots in our heads. And what it's actually doing is energetically aligning us to be able to come to a higher vantage point of perspective and the ability to have death to the old programs and to us just holding on to survival.
So what I'm hearing Crystal say is that, there is like a refreshing possibility or opening here with this Two of Wands, that we're the possibility for us to feel almost like it might take a while for the time to feel like it's slowing down. But what she's saying is that this is actually for our advantage, because we have a lot to do to kind of almost like catch up from the last 4 years of we've done so much work. So it's almost like we need
so much learning, like gathering information. And with this Nine of Wands, it's kind of like, in terms of time, it's kind of like we're in time overload. Like we're almost to the burnout card around it. Like energetically, like we're just steeped in all of it. And so all of this learning that we've been doing, though, is actually put us in that place so that we can take the best of all that we've gathered He's picking up that one wand there
Mhm.
and taking the best of all that we've gathered, and then actually taking that information out into the world. So when will the cleanup be done, and will time slow down again?
I mean, that death card is it's usually a longer journey. We used
Like
to
8
say,
years?
well, I mean, maybe on some level, like maybe some people are going to be going
Mm,
through a lot of still time compression as long as 8 years. But I get those of us that are ready, it's like within, usually the death card is 18 months, kind of max, a
mm,
year and a half.
there you go.
So we could see most of us, most of you tuning in here, it's almost like 80% of the people are still going to be frantic for about another 8 years.
Mhm.
But the 20% of us, which is most of you watching here, are going to be sort of liberated before that. And certainly it's about how you approach it, because the Queen of Swords is the boundary queen. So it's
Mhm.
about making energetic and like intentional boundaries with time compression.
Yes.
So it's literally like going, no, I'm not going to drive myself to the brink of burnout. I'm going to pull back and make boundaries with my own, like, I want to say time management.
Mhm.
So, because it's, definitely this is, like Crystal said, this is a long, somebody mentioned here, maybe 4 years. This is a long, but we got a lot of cleanup to do.
Yeah, it's a holding period. Mhm.
However, because so many of us have done so much of the prep work for that cleanup, it's like energetically we're more liberated sooner, if that makes sense. And it's very likely that many of you will feel that relief, certainly with it, possibly even as soon as 8 or 9 weeks, 8 or 9 months, and then definitely with the year and a half to 2 years. So I see that it's exponentially getting better. We're at this Nine of Wands is kind of like the end of the story,
Mhm.
the ninth step, right? It's like the whole 9 yards. And
Mhm.
we're about to shift into the reversing all of this damage kind of thing. Um, Interesting. I'm just hearing that I'm supposed to tell you all about my upcoming numerology workshop. It hasn't been posted on the Beyond Mystic site yet. I'll bring you information about that. I think we'll have it up for pre-sale by this time next week. And things like this, where we're looking at what is the significance of the 9 energy, what is the significance of the 8 and the 4 and the 2, so that not only with tarot, but literally in your life, you can look at how to work with numbers that you see,
Mhm.
how to work with the significance of yeah, basically the frequency of numbers, so that you organize your life a little bit around that and take advantage of the energy, because the numbers are actually connected to the sacred geometry, the basically the platonic solids and the form, the building blocks of creation are connected through number energy. I'll just leave that for you to contemplate, and I'll talk about it a little bit more next week, and then let you know about when that is available. But numbers, it's funny, we're talking about time and reclaiming, because the last thing I want to say about this is
Mhm.
she's got the tools, right? We've gathered a lot of this King of Swords up here. We've gathered a lot of knowledge and information. And we've learned, like, oh yeah, there's systems out there that we can follow, that we can learn, and they can help us to change our experience of time. And then this feels like we're actually going to start practicing some of these skills. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I love too, like the both of these are moving towards the future. The queen is facing the future, and even the death card is facing the future. And it's all of that. The death card is so much about the rebirth and being reborn, the sun that's rising in the distance here. and kind of like the phoenix from the ashes. And I think that we're really going to come forward with not just time slowing down, but the time that is in alignment for each one of our journeys. That time is going to look probably different for everybody. And I think that that is quite an exciting potentiality of it not being such a linear thing anymore.
Okay. Ricky, I just wanted to comment as well. You're talking about, thank you for your question, Angela. And Ricky is saying, I'm feeling very high vibrations today. Participated in the World Unity meditation last night. Awesome. Thank you for doing that, Ricky. And we've got a question here from Handle with Care. Are there still significant ET Galactic otherworldly battles going on? Will this be exposed, and are we near victory? So yeah, let's have a tune in around that. And again, I'm reminded about my awareness about working interdimensionally and how I want to just put forth the awareness that we are in a cosmic frequency, I want to say galactic community, and therefore there are always battles going on on the frequencies where that kind of energy is being worked out. There is always, so it's almost like they're showing me, like when you go for some reason, I don't know why they're showing me this, but they're saying, you know, when you go skiing and you go up on the ski lift and you get above the cloud cover, it could be pouring rain down below, but you get above that and it's like a beautiful, bright, sunny day. So that is a little bit what I'm being shown. It's almost like there's these systems of the layers of interdimensional frequency. So on some layer, we are always going to have these warring energies and entities that are sort of sorting things out through conflict, through polarization. And it isn't about like, are they still going to be there? It's about, are we still going to be there? Right? It's like, are we going to still be sort of sucked into that? Like, are we still going to be down? Are we going to be up the ski hill, or are we still going to be down in the pouring rain or blizzard or snowstorm or whatever, right? So we'll ask the question the way you asked it, but I also want everyone to kind of consider that it is about us and where our frequencies kind of, I want to say, energetically line up. So let's have a look at what
I feel like possibly maybe we pick 3 piles.
Okay.
And answer each of those 3 questions.
Okay.
What do you feel?
ET Galactic other.
Are there other worldly battles going on? Will this be exposed? And are we near victory?
Okay, yeah.
Right?
So are there battles? Will it be exploded? Woo! So are there battles?
Are there battles
still going on? Well, that looks pretty positive.
Will this be exposed?
Yeah. Here we get. Ooh. Oh gosh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go over.
Yeah, like
probably.
That's it. Yeah.
Stop turning them the way that they don't go.
Okay,
darlings. And last one. Oh, are we near victory? Interesting. Okay.
Ooh, well, we got 2 aces. So for those of you that know the tarot, the aces are kind of like the winning, reward, good work, check mark, gold star. So that's pretty positive. So
going one at a time, and are there still significant ET Galactic otherworldly battles going on? Interesting that I feel like there's probably more working together than there is battles at this point.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot more unity and collaboration that's happening. I think they're probably developing like new systems, even I'd say like new ways to communicate with us and to reach us in like very like in simpler ways.
Through like material, like almost
Yeah.
collaboration in the material realm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, and that to me does signify a cleanup in the 3D. And so similar to what I
Mhm.
was just saying, are we out of that storm? Are we, I think this is indicating that in terms of earth plane, there probably is not much in the way of the ET Galactic battle happening
Mhm.
anymore. That
Mhm.
we're moving out of the troubled water of that with the Six
Mhm.
of
With
Swords,
the
right?
6 of Swords,
And that
yeah.
there's been a lot of like communication. And this is a card, I call it the entrepreneur card, but it's really working together on something.
Mhm.
And in the, like Crystal said, in the physical plane, there's like, let's work together in the material realm. So it's not just about ideas and energy and frequency and them like sort of raining down on us and going, let us tell you what's what and show you the way. It's like, it's literally like them showing us how to relate to the physical world in a new way so that we are heading in the right direction, integrating, as I said earlier, the first three dimensions,
Mhm.
cleaning up those first three dimensions before
Mhm.
we graduate into but heading towards the sixth,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
heading, I don't think we're stopping at 5. I think we're going from 3 to 6, and that might even be in the next 3 years.
Mhm.
So cool.
Really, really lovely. And then will this be exposed? Well, I mean, here we are. First of all, Ace of Swords is our yes card. So that's a yes. And it's interesting because the exposure seems like where there's more of the battle of thoughts. There's more of like, this is right. No, this is right. No, like in the battle of like ideas and what it all looks like and stuff like that. So, um,
Like a lot of people will say that's be like, there'll be a big backlash. Basically, the exposure will happen, but only to the degree that people are ready, because a lot of people are just going to be like, saying no way.
yeah, they'll just walk away from it.
Yeah.
They'll just, yeah. It's interesting though because it's almost like this is like smirking. He's like he won the battle. And so it seems to me like beautiful to have the Empress in here because it's almost like it ties in the significance of the galactic with our what mom's been talking about, which is that really rooting into the first three dimensions, which is our earth plane and what is below that. So we've been spending a lot of time also over millennia now looking up and thinking, and something about this battle and this being exposed and what's going on is that it's almost like the galactics and the otherworldlies are seeing the importance of our earth and communicating with us on the earthly plane.
How to form a new relationship with earth. And it's almost
Mhm.
like, the naysayers, the ones that the unbelievers will eventually believe, because the proof will be in the actual evidence of, like, you'll be able to see it with your own eyes.
Mm.
Like, we talk about things, miraculous things like, Emoto's work with water crystals and how you could like change the frequency and you could make plants grow by sending, the work with plant life is just extraordinary. There's another amazing resource that I suggest. It's a hard read, but it's called The Secret Life of Plants, on my website under the book club section. And that is basically, there's been evidence for hundreds and hundreds of years about the interdimensional relationship between humans and plants and how we can literally grow, like we can change everything about the plant's life experience with our thoughts and our words. We have so much connection with the material plane. We can change, like we can literally materialize and dematerialize stuff. And so when people start seeing this, but it doesn't come through the mind. It's not like, oh, I've learned the trick. Let me show you this party trick. It has to be heart-centered. If we're not fully integrated, so you talk about, like the indigenous people from around the world that could change weather and do these extraordinary, miraculous things, the miracles that that Jesus was able to present and achieve, right? That people could visibly see the miracle taking place. It comes from a pure heart. Everything else is just magic trickery.
Well, a pure heart and a divine union with nature.
Yes, the pure heart is only available when the other lower dimensions are healed. So it's going to be helping us heal over the next 3 years, 3 to 6 years. The lower, again, exactly what we were talking about earlier, the lower dimension distortion and evil, cleaning that up so that miracles start to become more commonplace. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Okay. And are we near victory? I mean, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the end. It's the end of the old way. It's the end of the battles of the mind, the battles of consciousness. Before we go too far there too, I wanted to point something out that Ricky said.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
So don't go too far.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm saying something here. So are we near victory? Definitely. And there's such a gift in it. Like we were just saying, like this is the check mark, like Mom said, this new beginning that's coming in, and it's on a whole new frequency plane. And there's such a gift that's waiting for it. It's the miracles.
Tangible, physical miracles, physical miracles. So again, I've been hearing for years from any of the intergalactic sort of frequencies that I tune in with, it's almost like, oh yeah, settle down there, little humans, like little humans being like little human miracle workers. Like you are all just so powerful. It's sort of like giving children too much, like, here, play with these electric wires. It's like, no, but it doesn't mean that they're not brilliant. Look what they grow into being, like super astronomer, physics, astrophysicists. Like, it's not that the little child can't develop into that awareness. It's just that if you give it all these things too soon, it's just going to hurt itself and hurt others. So they're saying, just like, don't rush this. You got to grow, humans. Like, you have all the DNA, you have everything it takes within your beings to evolve into these super miracle workers. But they're saying, but if you rush and just try to use your head and get ahead of yourself, you're going to end up just causing more destruction. And then you have to deal with the karma of that and get thrown back a few paces. Your frequency is going to go down. And
you could end up laid out.
Yeah, let's enjoy the child phase of our evolution here. We are up several levels. We've just grown exponentially in terms of frequency and what we're capable of. But in these new dimensional frequencies, we are at our, toddler infant stage. So let's enjoy that. Like, how long is it going to take to move through that? I think it's individual. I think some people could move through it quite quickly, but there's no sneaking advantage. There's no shortcut. You only move through it when you've actually integrated it on all the levels, on all those dimensions. So
we're all working on that.
Totally.
Ain't that the truth? Okay. Ricky was just lovely to help our friend out here to click the notifications bell under the video and click on the top bell to get notifications for the future. I mean, if you haven't done so already, please do. Please do tune in with us and get the notifications when this is happening. It is so helpful to us and just beautiful to have you all here joining us. So thank you for your assistance on that,
and
Ricky.
Susan is saying she's a bit shadow banned.
Yes.
So yeah, hopefully that's going to shift here in the very near future.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, I'm going to go
Susan had a question about Peanut the squirrel. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's.
It sounds like they're having a chat.
Yeah,
about
there's
it.
a chat about all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so questions. What energies are left for us to alchemize in order to complete the intense integration process that has characterized 2024? Oh, what a
Ethan, beautiful.
Great question. Thank you, Ethan. Hi.
Hello.
Left for us to alchemize to complete the intense integration, which is what we've been talking about. Like, interesting that you're referring to it in relation to 2024. And I'll just put a mention that you might want to check out my video chat with my friend Charlene, where we did the talk about the final 3 months of the year of the wood dragon. And so that's like, how do we integrate the energies to bring out the end of this year, which actually goes into the end of January of 2025, according to that 9-star key astrology model. So check that out. I'll put a link to that below, giving us some insights about how to work and alchemize. And let's get some more insights about that here.
Okay. Let's see. Da-da-da-da.
Ooh. Move that guy down just a little bit.
Yeah, surely will.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I did it right this time.
You did. And that 5 can just go.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust here.
Squeeze those guys together.
We're gonna go wands, pentacles. You can see what they are here.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. A wand between 2 pentacles,
right.
And then the 2 here as well. Like,
so, I mean,
I've got some real insight around this.
Tell us,
can
Mama.
I jump in? Okay. Well, I can't help but notice we're looking at a polarity dance here. Do you see this? We've got the 2 of Pentacles, which is the guy's dancing between these 2 things that he's holding. We've got another 2, which is the gates of polarity. The actual gate of polarity in the tarot is the High Priestess. So, and then we're talking about, this last phase of 2024 and how do we alchemize this? How do we, well, to me, this is a lot about standing in that gateway of the polarity, of the uncertainty. We want so badly to just claim one path, one truth, one direction, one way. We want so much that clear, easy, integrated, directional answer of life. This is part of the work right now, is to stay in the unknown a little bit longer and just monitor your progress, focus on what is working and leave the rest of it on the side. Now, this is interesting, this 5 of Swords dude, because he's been showing up in my forecasts for the week in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I just keep looking at him and going, what are you doing there? Because the rest of the forecast looks amazing. And then there's this little annoying, this is like that when you get a thorn in your shoe or you're like out having an amazing time. And it's like, oh, great. Now I've got a stomach cramp, or now I've got this. And it kept showing up in these different places. Like this week, it was in the house at home. And I can't remember where it was last week and the week before, but it's almost this energy of, as we get clearer and more kind of integrated with those polarities, the things that are not, there's going to be things that just stick out like a thorn in your shoe. And it's almost like these most annoying little things that are just going to piss you off, right? And I actually said that to Crystal a couple times this week. I was like, okay, the Five of Swords is happening. I'm just like so upset about this silly little thing. And I'm like, this is not me. Like, I'm not normally, well, most of the time, I'm not normally that like upset about these annoying little irritants. So there's going to be, that's going to be your Achilles heel, folks, in the next 5 or 6 weeks. But it does look like we're going to get through that. Keep in your heart, keep in the unknown of like balancing between the polarities. Because I feel like there's going to be still some uncertainty. And this kind of takes us into election predictions, but it does feel like I don't see that everything is going to come into the great new up-leveling reset of New Earth immediately. I think we're going to go through still some dissemination, some teardown. And even when, you know, it's almost like they're saying when a train stops and puts its brakes on, it still keeps rolling for a while. What is that? There's a name for that. Inertia, I think, or something like that. Anyway, where it's still, we're in the inertia of the momentum of what's was. And we need to hold on and not go, what's going on? How come everything hasn't changed overnight? Right?
Yeah. And we still really need to be doing the work. Like, we have designed it this way. And this is we've got 2 5s, right? So we're still really working at that balancing and the mastering the balance of the chaos and the change. And we're still in the doing the dance of that between the mind and the material, and attachment to control and security. And that stirring up is really forcing us to come into our hearts and find all these little wins, baby steps along the way.
Yeah, right.
Baby steps along the way.
Yeah.
So the jury's out on what 2025 is still going to look like, but intense integration process of 2024 is still ongoing. And we really have so much care and compassion for ourselves and for all of you out there that are going through the roller coaster of what is happening for us right now, and little wins all along the way. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for your question, Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
Okay, we've
Love
got
seeing you.
2 interesting questions here from Susan and Angela that are kind of, in a way, to me, they're a little bit connected, because I'm going to put Angela's question. No, sorry, Susan's up first. Assuming the new alien mummies discovered with copper breastplates, is this copper the origin of the blue blood, not monarchs, but actual true blue blood? Interesting question. And then Angela's asking, during the group meditation 10 years ago, I met a galactic ombudsman who was part of a group that was their only job, promoting understanding between planets, races, and life forms. So, okay,
she said, and then Suzanne says underneath, assuming that the mummies are real, is what she was saying.
Okay, so let's start by looking at the mummies.
Here, mummy, I feel like you need to shuffle on this.
Oh my Lord.
Mummy.
Never any shortage of silliness here with Crystal and I. You know, this to me feels like,
thank goodness,
this is how we this is how we stay in that beautiful frequency. And this is also the intergalactic card. So we're asking about new alien mummies discovered with copper breastplates. Is this the copper the origin of the blue blood, literal blue blood? You know, this is so interesting because working on, it's a long-term project because I've been so busy with all the other things, but I'm writing fiction. I have several fiction projects in the works that someday when I
Mhm.
retire from my online work that I'm doing right now, I will focus on writing fiction full time. And one of my fiction stories is actually called Copper Moon, and it is about the origins and the interesting mystical history around the role of working with copper in ancient civilizations. So this is definitely right up my alley.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I was like, this is a question for mom to look
okay,
at.
so assuming the new alien mummies discovered, are they real? And what is the origin? Is this the origin of the blue bloods?
Mm.
So yeah, let's just add 3 more cards here. Waiting for more
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Look at that, a King of Cups and a Knight
Yeah.
of
So much
Cups.
about water.
So much about water, but that's also
That
about,
could be blue blood.
yeah, look at all that
Look at all the
blue.
blue.
Exactly. Okay, and then a karmic.
Mm.
So this is a karmic turning point, and there's a lot more to this story, is what I'm hearing, Susan. Like overall, yes.
Yes.
Overall, the answer to your question is yes, but this is just literally opening a can of worms that is
Mhm.
massive. Like you're on the tip of something when you're speaking about this, and we're gonna see a lot more insights around this coming out. So I'm already giving a little little basically teasers on my books, and they're not coming out for at least 4 or 5 years because I've got so much production with all the courses I'm working on and all the readings I'm doing. But I am still doing research on this. So it
We
feels
are
like,
all patiently waiting.
yeah, it feels like a very interesting opening to a larger conversation
Mhm.
that will bring so much insight. And that, it's interesting because I've been doing the research on, I want to say, I would call it historical revisionism, which is basically looking at real historical, the whole big picture, taking into account mythology and different narratives from different cultures around the world and putting all those pieces together and really exploring, like, all ancient aliens and all of those things, and gathering all that data. And I've been working on that for like 30 plus years. So it's such a fascinating, like, I feel like a lot of what's out on the internet right now, you have to kind of go far and wide to get a lot of these pieces. There's a fascinating, larger, evolving narrative that is only going to get bigger with time. And then it's going to start to feel like, oh, it just makes so much sense why we are where we are. And there, whatever this is about the blue blood and the copper, it is for our benefit, is what I'm
Mhm.
saying, what I'm hearing. You see that,
It's
Krista?
well, yeah, because it's really like magically cracked open like what everyone thought that they knew. All
Yeah.
of the research and all of the baseline ideas around this is the reality. They're all just going, uh-oh, like this is all being exposed. And so it's like it is blowing the lid, right?
Yeah.
Blowing the lid. And so it's like being put into that percolation point now where it's like, oh, there's a lot of karmic discovery that's going to be happening.
Mhm.
And it seems like we're all in it together,
Well, and it's interesting because
which
you
really,
hear from different, like, for example, Barbara Hancock, who I was just speaking about earlier, talking about how it, in the 80s and early 90s, when she was producing this channeled narrative, it was just absolute woo gobbledygook. It was like nobody could even, you'd just be laughed out of any scientific community. It would just be like, oh, yeah, right. And now, of course, everything that was in there is being proven. And she has basically been gathering all the like verifiable, papers, research papers that have been printed in scientific journals and so on. And a lot of that stuff, of course, now has disappeared. The validation of things, it was there, and then now suddenly it's hard to access it online and all that nonsense. So she's actually collected, old-fashioned style, collected the actual original documents and all that kind of stuff. So this is what we're going to be sort of sorting through a whole backlog of information that will be made public gradually, but it's almost like there's so much to sort through, and without the whole picture, it's hard to really understand the narrative. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of a cliffhanger there, Susan. But you and I are going to be longtime friends and allies and colleagues in these discussions, because I love your questions, and I definitely have plans to get much deeper into this material in times ahead.
Ricky, let us know when you have your healing spa set up and we'll come visit.
Yeah.
We all need some healing spa. Yeah.
Great.
Healing spa is definitely in my future in some way or shape. Business, hobby, but I see it. Nice. Let me see.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Spicy Dame has asked about her surgery. Let's do a little personal question there. She's one of our regulars. Hi, Spicy Dame. Let's just ask about your surgery.
First of all, we're sending you so much clean, light, healing energy in that, and wishing you all the best in it. Let's have a look. Beautiful.
Thanks, Laura. Hit the like button. Yay. Thank you for all you do, ladies.
We're just going to pull a few cards on that for you. Go like this. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Beautiful. So steady as she goes here, and really be gentle with yourself in the healing process. Try not to push yourself too hard afterwards. I don't see any complications here.
No, I mean, this is basically saying, what we talked about earlier about really integrating your physical, those first three dimensions, like getting grounded beforehand, eating well, getting a lot of outside time with your feet on the earth, natural sunlight, just really attending to your physical body to prep for this. And like Crystal said, being so gentle with yourself in your healing process. But look at this. It just looks like you're out. Like, I don't know what the surgery is, but it looks like you're out having a laugh and walking and hiking. And I don't know if you have a doggy, but you're out with your dog. Like, it looks like you're healing up.
There's
just
new
great
energy that's coming through you. And really the gentleness is like really treating yourself almost like you would like a little one, like you would like you're the most important top priority to care for yourself in a gentle, playful way. And it feels very playful. Yeah.
Spicy Dame says, I was afraid to ask. This is reassuring. Beautiful. And I want to just bring your attention for any of you that have had sessions with Crystal and I, or are planning to do that. This is how we work with the cards and with our calling, our gifts, is that even if we had really challenging cards show up, there's nothing to be afraid of, because we're going to not just leave you hanging like, oh no, it looks bad. We're not going to ever say that. What we're going to say is, let's go deeper. let's look at, is this, you know, I'll get out my pendulum and vows about the timing, about the surgeon, about the this or that. I love, like, we're not just going to leave you with a negative prophecy, because that is totally against the integral way that I do my work. It is, if we see something challenging coming forward, it's not about disempowering you. It's about bringing more to the table for your consideration, inquiring deeper, asking better questions, so we can almost get to the root of what it is that your soul is trying to show you. So in this case, we don't need to do any of that, because it's just going, stay grounded, stay, like Crystal said, steady as she goes, and it looks like a fantastic outcome. So, yes.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So it looks like we're questions are coming to a close. Crystal has a very big day today. She's got several sessions lined up, and I also have a lot of business to work on. So I think we're going to sign off a little bit early here, and just want to wish you all so many blessings. Let's take a breath together. Send that beautiful heart-centered energy, that high frequency, that sixth dimension. Feel yourself grounded into the earth, into the lower dimensional energy there. Just because it's a lower energy does not mean it's a bad energy. If we have it in alignment, if we have a healthy lower 3 dimensions, it creates the root where our beautiful exalted higher dimensions can evolve from. So let's hold that energy together, send that out to the universe today with all the wildness that's going on. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this pivotal turning point. Have a beautiful
blessings, everyone.
Rest of your week, and we'll see you here next week. Bye.